So like I was saying, we know that because it's ingrained in us, and we know that. Everyone knows that. And this is America, and as an American, like, everyone knows that. It's obvious, like, white lives matter. What is not so obvious is that Black lives matter. That's what's not as obvious. And I feel like that was a huge movement and a huge change to America. But yeah, so it's like, oh, well, that organization was doing money laundering, and nothing was really going towards the community and stuff like that. But it's just like so many other organizations are also, yes, so many organizations are corrupt. There's so many organizations that are actually corrupt, and it's not just that particular organization, but that is probably the only organization that actually goes around saying, yeah, Black lives matter, and they do. So why come against that one? It's a little bit confusing. And then you have the whole George Floyd situation. If you think about it, he was just a man walking around, and regardless of his past or what he's done, in that moment, the crime was a petty crime. Counterfeit money. It was a petty crime, and it did not warrant the response. It did not warrant his life for the counterfeit bill that was the crime at the moment, right? So I think the reason that it was such a huge thing was because of what he physically represents. He physically is probably like the embodiment of masculinity, or Black masculinity. If you think about it, he's just walking around, he wasn't like a famous person or a basketball player, but he's the most of everything. He's the extreme of what, or maybe like the best physically, the tallest, the biggest, the darkest, the most strongest, the coolest, and also believes in God, like all of those things, and yet he was taken down in an instant, crying, calling for his mama, like in an instant. So then if he's one extreme, then I would probably be the other extreme, which is like, okay, female, small, very light, like the lightest, the most diluted, probably like mixed, and not even 100%, but I'm still a person who's a part of the Black race, and I can understand, but I can still understand what he went through instantly. I can understand that perfectly, because even on, the whole other side of the diaspora, the whole other side of the curve, if you think about, I'm an educated person, I'm clean, right, super clean record, like, you know what I mean, but yet I still know exactly what he's talking about. I still know exactly, so I've still been through it myself, and there's so many stories all around America of people of our race and community that have been through the same exact thing, and to some extent. So I think that was just a huge event. So of course, like all of the uprising and all of the things that were going on, of course, like I do not condone that, and of course that was not necessarily a peaceful response. But of course nobody condones that. Like basically nobody would condone that. Nobody would say that that's right. But I think it did open awareness on a lot of different levels. It opened a lot of awareness all over, and I think that was very telling. But yeah, that's my spin on it. So I am mixed race, but I still consider myself black. Like, I don't consider myself anything else.